Hello Cloud Gurus and welcome to Identity Access Management. This is the third section in our course and we'll be talking about IAM exclusively throughout this section and how you use it. So what is IAM? Essentially, Identity Access Management allows you to manage users and their level of access to the AWS console. It is important to understand IAM and how it works both for the exam and for administrating a company's AWS account in real life. Let's run through some features of Identity Access Management. Identity Access Management gives you centralized control of your AWS account. It integrates with existing Active Directory accounts, allowing for single sign-on. It has fine-grained access to the AWS resources. It gives you access is available on a user, group, or roles level. It allows multi-factor authentication. And it provides temporary access for users and devices and services where necessary. It also allows you to set up and maintain your own password rotation policy. If we talk about high-level concepts, so what's the difference between a user, a group, and a role? Well, a user is end users. Just think people. A group is a collection of users under one set of permissions. And a role is similar to a group, but you can assign both users and AWS resources. Think things like EC2, for example. EC2 instances can have credentials stored on them, however, it is a security risk and it's difficult to manage. Roles solve this issue. So essentially, I can take an EC2 instance and say, okay, this EC2 instance has the S3 role assigned to it, and the S3 role would allow any person or any object that's assigned to it to access S3. So this is a way I can basically, set permissions amongst my my AWS account on a different service level basis. Each role has a policy template, so we start with administrator access, which gives you full access to the AWS services and resources. We then have power user access, which gives you full access except for management of users and groups. And then we have a read-only access, and this gives you read-only access to the resources. And then you've got more granular access depending on the resources required, such as S3 access, which I mentioned earlier. Now don't worry if this isn't making a lot of sense to you at this stage. We're just introducing the broad concepts. When we go into Identity Access Management, we'll see how to configure groups and roles. And then in the EC2 section of the course, we'll see how roles work from a hands-on perspective when you're logged into EC2 and you want to access things like S3 buckets, etc. Okay, so that concludes this lecture. It was a quick one. Now let's move on to the next lecture where we start getting our hands dirty and we start actually using the AWS console. See you on the next deck.